everybody, it's art class with Mrs. Hitchcock again. Today we are going to work on a project at home. We're still all home. And it's called the Ted Harrison Polar Bear. All right, now I don't know if any of you know who Ted Harrison is. He is a famous author and illustrator that has written a beautiful book, several beautiful books, but the one we're kind of looking at today is called A Brush Full of Color. Now, here's a picture of the book. I don't actually own the book. You can find this on YouTube. I'm not savvy enough yet to get a link put in, but when I am, I'll go back and add the link to this video. A Brush Full of Color, it's a read aloud book. They read it to you on YouTube and you'll see the pictures and it's really beautiful. But Ted Harrison was born in 1925. He died in 2015. He was born in England, but he relocated to northern Canada in 1967. This is where he became inspired by his surroundings to paint landscapes of the Yukon. His artwork is easily recognizable for his bright contrasting color palettes and swirling whimsical lines. Harrison also was known for illustrating children's books. So today we're going to do what we can with crayon. If you have marker and can remember how to paint with markers like we did in the Springtime Bunny, that would work wonderful for this as well. But if you don't have any markers with you, that's fine. You can do crayons as well. That'll work just perfect. Or colored pencils or whatever you can find. Chalk, if you have sidewalk chalk, would be really nice too. So what we're going to do is, your teachers have made a packet for you. And if you have received that packet and you have the worksheets, then you will be able to follow along with us. For this project today, you're going to need the computer paper. I call it computer paper. Really, it's printer paper. Printer paper, a pencil to draw with, maybe an eraser if you're afraid you're going to make a few mistakes, and then crayons or markers, whichever you would prefer to use. Chalk is great too. Anyway, so I'm going to show you quickly how to draw a polar bear. All right? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to have our paper, it's going to be vertical. The last video I explained to you about horizontal and vertical, hot dog, hamburger. Some of you know it that way. So we're going to do it vertical. And we're going to take our bear, our pen. Well, I'm going to use a Sharpie so that you can see it, because otherwise it's too hard for you guys to see if I use a pencil. So I can't make a mistake. Oh, I have Jeffy with me, and he's taking my crayons out of my crayon bucket and throwing them on the floor. He's being a little naughty bird today. All right, so to make your polar bear, it's so simple, it's so easy. We want our polar bear to be at the bottom of the paper, all the way to the bottom, okay? Because we've got some cool background that we're gonna do in the inspiration of Ted Harrison style. We're gonna start at the bottom of our paper. And it's just kind of like a hill. It doesn't really look much like a bear right now, but it will look like a bear when we're done. And what color are polar bears? They're white, so we don't even have to worry about coloring in the bear. He can stay nice and white. So now that we've got our little hump there for the bear, and make sure that it goes all the way to the bottom of your paper, but not all the way to the top, because you need some room to do a few things up here. So you've got that. Now we're going to do a circle for his nose, kind of like a muzzle, all right? So when you do his muzzle, kind of like a circle, maybe an oval, does not have to be perfect. This is a cartoon bear, so we know what we're doing with the cartoons, doesn't have to be perfect. Now you're going to want some eyes. Our polar bear is just going to have little black dots for eyes, okay? Very simple. And a nose. Now I like to put his nose a little bit towards the bottom of this. Makes it look like it's a bigger muzzle. Bears have those muzzles that come out and then their nose is on the end of that. Kind of like a dog. And then a tiny little mouth. My bear is going to be smiling a little bit. I like happy animals. I do. Now we need a few little arms. 2 arms. We're only going to do 2. We're not going to worry about his legs. We're going to come out of his body. It's basically the same shapes that we're doing. It looks like a U. You see that? Oh, hi, Jeffy. Hi, Jeffy. And then we're gonna come over on this side and do another U, okay? So it kind of looks like he's got his little arms in front of him. And then bears have claws, so we're gonna do some claws on our bear. Just little pokey lines for claws. Isn't he cute? He's a cute little bear. Jeffy, is he cute? Mm-hmm, he is. Okay, we also need ears. Bears have ears. You can do polar bear ears, like kind of rounded. Or you can do spiky ears. You can do whatever kind of ears you want to do. Now Jeffy's on the camera. Come here, Jeff. There. I'm going to put him over there to play. Very basic. I'm going to put the insides of his ears in there. Maybe put a little bit of shadow in there. Now, to make our bear pop a little bit more so he kind of sticks out and not isn't just plain white, because remember, we're not coloring our bear in. This is a polar bear and he's white. So we're going to take our pencil or crayon, whatever you're drawing with, just put a few little dots around his muzzle. Okay? And a few little dots on his arms. That's just going to give the impression of a little bit of a shadow. Okay? You don't want to put dots all over him, just a little bit. If you wanted to, instead of doing dots, if you wanted to do fur, you could do fur, little fur lines. I'm just showing you the difference here. So and you could do it around his ears if you wanted to. Now it just looks like he has, like he's an old man bear and he has like the old man hair just on the sides and not on the top. Okay, so that's our bear. That's all we do for the bear. So easy. Now, Ted Harrison has a lot of cool colors in his backgrounds. Now, we don't want to just have a bear on a plain paper. We want to make him belong somewhere. So what we're going to do, so easy, and I know you guys can do this, we're going to start at the bottom here, and we're just going to draw some lines. See, that could be like the ground that he's standing on. Maybe we'll leave that white so it looks like snow, because polar bears live where it's cold and a lot of times there's snow. We're just going to keep on going. Stop when you get to the bear, jump over the bear, and continue on the other side. Okay, now when you get close to his head, you can do it again and stop, go across his head, line to the end of the page. Now up here you want to do something a little bit more interesting, okay? We want to do a couple mountains. So you draw some more humps. See that? Pretty easy. I'm going to get this off and show it to you. Oh, that's holding it up. Jeffy was going to go for a ride there. See that? Very easy to do. Okay. He was thinking he was going to chew my Sharpie marker. I'm not going to let him do that. Now, if you have markers and you want to do the paint with markers, you can. If you don't have markers, and I don't even have my markers out. So you'll have to watch the Springtime Bunny if you want to remember how to paint with markers. I'm going to pick blue again. I do love the color blue. My crayons are kind of old, so they're not, some of them are sharp and some of them are not. See that? But even dull crayons work fine. If it gets too low, you just peel the paper off. It does make a mess when you peel the paper off, but you can peel that paper off and then you have more room on your crayon. Okay, so I'm going to color in my mountains. I like blue mountains. You may put whatever color mountains you want on yours. You can make them snow-capped mountains if you want. Mine are not snow-capped. And just for simplicity, I'm going to make both my mountains the same color blue. Now, if you want to do kind of scribbly, you can do kind of scribbly in your background. It just gives it a little bit more texture. This is the time where scribbling would be good. Jeffy's throwing my crayons down again. I gotta catch them before they roll off the table. All right, I guess we're gonna use pink next because this is actually the crayon Jeffy pulled out of the basket. So we're gonna use the pink. Now I think I want pink. I don't want this to all be snow. If this was all snow, it just blends in with my bear too much, and I want my bear to pop out. So I'm gonna just pick one plane. This is one level. Remember, we skipped over the bear to get to the other side. And I painted over here. There's no right color or wrong color to use. Any color you want to use, and it's hard to see, but that is pink. I'll show you when I'm done. And then I think I'm gonna just do a pop of color of yellow. And I think I'll do my yellow right here. This actually looks like springtime colors. We've got kind of a robin's egg blue, the nice yellow, a pink, but I think I want something a little bit heavier for the bottom, okay? Just to kind of balance out this darker blue up here. Ooh, I know what I'll do. I'm gonna use the dark blue. Okay, it's called indigo. It's almost a purpley blue, but I think that's gonna balance it out pretty good by using the same type of color on the bottom as I did on the top. Okay? Now, hold your horses because we've got something even more exciting to do. Picking out a couple more crayons here. Not coming out for me. Our background now, our sky is just solid white, but I don't really want a solid white, okay? Can you see it? I really don't want solid white. So what I'm gonna do, I wonder if that'll stay there. I'm gonna take a red, well, it's called red violet, and a scarlet. Well, I think maybe Jeff is gonna take, he's taking the red violet. Okay, so while he's taking that and playing with that, whoop, I almost lost it. Here, can you sit here, please? Can you just sit right here? Thank you. You can have your crayon back. I won't take it from you. Okay. They're non-toxic. It's okay if he can chew it for a little bit. I'm going to just make some swirls up here on the top. Can you see that? I don't think you can. And I'm going to continue to do that. Now, my paper is clipped, so you probably have yours flat on the table, which would be nice. But if mine was flat on the table, you couldn't see it. Okay, I need this crayon, my friend. Okay? So I'm going to continue making kind of swirl lines. You know, a swirl is a line that's curvy. It's not a straight line. All different kinds of lines in the world. Actually, this drawing does not have any straight lines. All of our lines are kind of curvy. I do not know where my red violet went. That one's just red. Here's a different one, okay? Here's a different red. So I'm gonna also, since I've got the orange up here, I'm gonna take this lighter purpley pink color, and I'm gonna just put some more curvy lines just to give it a little more texture. And actually, when you put curly lines on things, it kind of shows movement. Kind of makes it look like that sky is moving a little bit. Yep. So there it is. There's your Ted Harrison polar bear. Have fun with it. Use all different colors if you want. If you want to go ahead and do one just like this, and then maybe later you decide you want to do a polar bear family, go ahead. Draw your one polar bear first, And then draw some little polar bears next to it. Maybe do whoever you're stuck at home with. You can make a polar bear for every person in your house. Polar bears first, and then the background. And I would love to see a picture of them sometime, or stick them in the mail and mail them. That'd be awesome too. Next year, if you want to save all your art for next year and bring it in and let me see it, I'll hang it up. I'd love that. Okay, so that's the lesson for today. Ted Harrison, Polar Bear. Thanks. I'll see you again next time.